Welcome back to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, get you straight to the insights, and today we're kind of strapping in for what might be next, the post-smartphone era.
Yeah, exactly. And just to be clear, we're not really talking about those big VR headsets, right? Your Vision Pros, your Quests.
Right, not those. And not the simpler audio-only glasses either, like the Ray-Ban Meta ones without the display.
No, we're diving deep into true AR glasses. The ones that look pretty much like normal eyewear but have these little integrated displays inside.
Yeah, the ones that were basically lab prototypes for ages. But now it feels like the big tech players are really racing to make these the next thing after the phone.
That's what the sources are suggesting. They're saying if the tech before was, let's say, immature, we're now hitting this phase of like wild growth where actual usable practical products are finally starting to show up.
Okay, so our mission today is to unpack that. How are they actually getting over the big hurdles, the things that kept AR glasses stuck?
We're looking at the engineering roadmap, basically.
Right.
And there are three main things the sources point to. Three pillars, you could say.
Pillars of maturity.
Yeah, something like that. First, solving display stealth, getting rid of that light leakage so people don't see it.
Okay.
Second, figuring out the software integration because you just can't run, full phone OS on your face.
Makes sense. And third?
And third is just everyday utility, like battery life and making them work if you wear prescription glasses, the practical
Yeah,
stuff.
got it. Okay, let's tackle that first one then. Pillar one, making them invisible, socially acceptable.
Right. And this is huge. It's a fundamental social thing.
Uh.
Think about eye contact. It's crucial for how we interact.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're wearing these glasses and I can see this faint glow, this light coming from the lens, it creates this invasion feeling, as some sources call it.
Like, are you looking at me or are you looking at some notification?
Exactly. That uncertainty, it just sort of undermines the whole interaction.
It's why Apple put so much effort into that eyesight thing on the Vision Pro, right? Trying to show your eyes, even though it's this big headset.
Precisely. It shows how vital maintaining that feeling of presence is. If the tech is obvious, if there's light leakage, it just changes the dynamic that could kill adoption before it even starts.
Okay, so how are they solving it? The sources mentioned Meta's Ray-Ban display as a big step here.
Yeah, they seem to be leading the pack on the form factor right now, specifically because that light leakage is almost non-existent. They really nailed that part.
And the key is the optics tech they chose.
It really comes down to the waveguide technology. Most products out there, and a lot of the prototypes we've seen, they use something called diffractive waveguides.
Okay, diffractive. And how does that work?
Well, it involves etching these incredibly tiny parallel lines, nanostructures, or gratings onto the lens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and these gratings guide the light from the tiny projector towards your eye using internal reflection. It's clever, but
Yeah.
it's inefficient. You lose energy. Light scatters.
And that scatter is the leakage you see from the outside.
That's the visible leakage, yeah. But Meta went a different route with the Ray-Bans. They used geometric waveguides.
Geometric. Okay, sounds simpler.
The concept is, baby, think of it like a tiny, tiny periscope inside the lens.
Huh. A periscope?
Basically, yeah. iFixit did a teardown that kind of confirmed this. They found these distinct prisms, like little scratches, near the edge.
Right, I saw that. Like 11 of them?
Yeah, something like that. Those capture the light. And then there's this array of almost invisible mirrors in the middle that redirect it straight into your eye. It's a much cleaner path for the light.
Okay, so it solves the leakage. What else does it enable?
Well, this is crucial. Because it's more efficient with light, geometric waveguides let them use LCOS projectors' liquid crystal on silicon.
Which is good.
It's good because LCOS is, relatively speaking, cheaper and needs less power compared to the micro LEDs you often need for the diffractive ones.
Ah, okay. So that hits two big pain points for AR glasses right there. Cost and battery life.
Exactly. Big advantages.
But there have to be downsides to geometric too, right? It can't be perfect.
Oh, absolutely not. Manufacturing them is apparently really tricky, very precise work. Schott is maybe the only company mass producing them right now.
Okay.
And the lenses themselves have to be thicker, like 2 or 3 millimeters, compared to maybe 1 millimeter for diffractive. Plus, you might get a slightly smaller field of view.
So, trade-offs. But Meta decided the invisibility, the stealth factor, was worth it.
It seems like it. They prioritized making the tech disappear to the outside world, even if it meant a slightly smaller view for the user. It's a long-term play on social acceptance.
Okay, so the hardware is getting stealthier. But even cool-looking glasses are useless if the software is clunky or limited. Which brings us to pillar two, the software problem.
Right. And the core issue is physics, really. These tiny glasses just don't have the space for the chips, the cooling, the battery needed to run a full mobile OS like iOS or Android.
So the ones that are working now, like the Ray-Ban displays, they run super minimal software.
Incredibly minimal. Often it's just like a visual front end for something else, maybe an AI assistant running on your phone. It forces this big question. If you can't build a standalone computer for your face, what do you build?
And the buzz, the rumor mill, points towards Apple's approach, the Apple Watch strategy.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. The idea is Apple isn't trying to make an iPhone replacement, at least not right away.
Okay.
Instead, it's an accessory, a companion device. It leans heavily on the hardware you already own.
So like connected to your iPhone.
And you get a simplified low-power interface on the glasses, basic notifications, quick info, that kind of thing.
But connected to a MacBook.
And suddenly, maybe, it unlocks the full power of Vision OS. You're using the Mac's processing power to project this extended 3D workspace through the glasses.
That's actually pretty smart. It sidesteps the whole processing power issue on the glasses themselves.
It does, but it immediately creates another massive challenge: latency.
The lag between the phone or Mac and the glasses display.
Exactly. If you're moving your head and the display takes even a fraction of a second too long to catch up, it's nauseating. It breaks the whole experience.
And the usual fix for low latency is a wire, right? Which nobody wants dangling from their glasses.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So the holy grail here is a super fast, super reliable wireless connection. And this is where Apple's history gives them an edge.
You mean like with the AirPods?
Precisely. They didn't just use standard Bluetooth. They built custom silicon, the H1 chip, to create that seamless, near-instant pairing and connection that nobody else could quite replicate at the time.
So the theory is they'll do something similar for the glasses, a custom wireless protocol or chip.
That seems to be the bet. If they can nail a low-latency wireless link that feels invisible to the user, that's a huge advantage. It makes that companion model feel like magic, not a compromise.
The only Apple can do factor.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, so we've got stealthier hardware, clever software integration. But then there's the day-to-day reality, Killer 3. The practical stuff, the utility flaws.
Right. Because even if everything else is perfect, if the battery dies in 2 hours, or if you wear glasses and can't easily use them, they just aren't practical for all-day wear.
And the sources suggest we're in a phase of compromise solutions. Necessary evils for now.
I think that's fair. Before we get to that ultimate, tiny, all-powerful design, these slightly less elegant temporary fixes are probably the best way to make them genuinely useful today.
Like those Quark AI glasses the sources mentioned. Their approach to battery life sounds intense.
It's definitely aggressive. Swappable batteries.
In the arms of the glasses.
Yeah, the arms of the batteries. And it's hot swappable, apparently. Like changing a pen refill, you just click one out, click a fresh one in, and the glasses stay on.
Huh. How do they manage that?
They mentioned a dual chip system. A really low-power chip keeps things ticking over in standby, handling basic connections, and the main processor only spins up when needed for heavier tasks.
Okay, so that's standby mode plus being able to swap batteries constantly.
Lets them claim all-day continuous use. Now look, swappable batteries. It feels a bit old school, right? Like early cell phone.
A little bit, yeah. Clunky almost.
But you have to admit, it directly tackles that fundamental problem.
Yeah.
How do you get all-day power into such a tiny device? Right now, maybe it is the most practical answer, even if it's not the most elegant.
Okay, function over form for now. What about the other big utility issue? Vision correction. That's a huge barrier for millions.
It really is. Getting custom prescription lenses made for AR glasses is often expensive and a hassle.
So what are companies trying?
Well, one interesting approach mentioned comes from XRL, a Chinese brand. They're apparently experimenting with material science.
Okay.
Using a special kind of thick, clear gel or fluid. The idea is you can apply it directly to the lens near the light engine.
A gel, what does that do?
It actually changes the refractive index of the light path. So essentially, the gel itself provides the diopter adjustment needed for nearsightedness.
Wow. So you could potentially calibrate the glasses to your prescription without needing new physical lenses.
That seems to be the goal. Just adjust the amount or properties of this fluid. Much simpler, much cheaper if they can get it to work reliably.
These really do sound like textbook examples of solving the immediate problems, even if the solutions aren't, the perfect final form.
Exactly. It feels very much like the early days of other tech. Remember early smartphones? Or
Well,
smartwatches?
Yeah. Terrible battery life, slow interfaces, dropped signal.
Right. They all started with flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But the shift happens when companies move from just talking about concepts to actually engineering these kinds of practical, if imperfect, solutions for real users. That's the sign things are maturing.
Moving from the lab bench to something you might actually buy and use every day.
We're definitely moving past the early concept car phase, maybe into the BlackBerry or Nokia smart device era for AR glasses. Functional, useful, but still evolving.
Okay, so let's pull this together. The path to mature AR glasses seems to involve hitting these key milestones.
Yeah, first, solving that social awkwardness, the invasion feeling, using smarter optics like geometric waveguides to hide the tech.
Then, getting around the performance limits by using the companion model, leveraging your phone or computer, and hopefully nailing that seamless wireless connection.
And finally, tackling the everyday annoyances with practical, albeit maybe temporary,
Yeah.
fixes like swappable batteries and novel ways to handle vision correction.
The sheer number of different approaches and actual products landing now, tackling these specific problems, it really does feel like that wild growth phase is here.
I think so.
Yeah.
The focus is shifting from, can we make this work theoretically, to how do we make this work reliably and conveniently for a real person all day long? We're just waiting for that one device that pulls all these solutions together seamlessly.
That'll be the device that marks the real iPhone moment for AR, I guess,
Yeah.
when it all clicks.
And maybe that leads to the final thought here. If we accept that the hardware issues, the optics, the battery, the software architecture, if those are getting solved or are on the path to being solved, then the next question isn't really about the tech specs anymore. We're kind of past waiting for just a better battery or a clearer lens, though those will come.
So what is the question?
What's the killer app? What's the actual thing you will do with these glasses, the function or interaction that's so fundamentally useful, so indispensable, that millions of us will finally say, okay, I don't need to pull my phone out for this anymore.
That specific function that makes the leap worth it.
Exactly. What's that must-have capability we haven't even maybe thought of yet that makes glasses the primary interface? That may be the real key we're still waiting to see unlocked. Something to think about until next time.